Hi there, it's editing me, just bopping in to establish a few housekeeping rules. I figure that would be pretty important considering the subject matter that we are talking about today. First thing I did want to say is that the quality of the video is going to get much better than this. I just really had to film this now because I did not film it with the original video. So thing number one. Number two, I did want to say that I know the situation has been going on for the past few years. I vaguely remember something about Freydis Moon happening many moons ago. Ha ha. Anyway, which is one of many aliases that this person that we were talking about today has used. So that's another thing. A lot of the tweets mentioned in this video were actually tweeted a while ago. I didn't really realize that at the time that I was making this video, but it's a little too late to go back now. This drama has been going on for a long time, and I do my best to organize this information in the order that it supposedly happened. That's the third thing. The next thing, please, for the love of God, do not send this person hate. We're not about that here. What I am saying in this video is for entertainment purposes only. I wanted to highlight what I thought might be potential problematic behavior that this person has allegedly shown. Okay, that is all. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. So yet again, another author has taken advantage of the ability to hide behind a fake name. I want to preface that everything I talk about in this video is either alleged and or my own opinion, not complete proven fact. I'll leave all of my sources down below so you can go check for yourself. In the span of 6 months, a white author used these fake names that sounded sort of ethnic in order to get the supposed advantages associated with being a person of color. I first saw this mentioned on Threads of all things. I never really go on there, but I saw on Instagram like someone talking about this one author, and it was a link to the Threads app. And I really wish I had taken a screenshot. It was basically this person saying that they apologized to their followers for recommending this person's books to them because they didn't realize that this author was just operating under a pseudonym and was associated with problematic behavior in the past. My main source for this video will be the post made by Jessica Porter on fanficable.com. Like I said, everything will be linked down below. There's also a Google Doc made by someone named L. I don't know their last name. If I remember it or can figure it out, I'll put it in my sources down below. But as of right now, I just know this person as L. I tried to organize this information in chronological order to the best of my ability. So back in June of 2020, trans writer Taylor Barton was accused of racism and bullying. According to the post made by Jessica Porter, they mainly write books with queer and fantasy-like themes. At this point, we have one name, and that is Taylor B Barton. Then they made another pseudonym with their middle name, Taylor Brooke. They published some sci-fi novels, and now we're on to name 2. Alleged victims of Barton's bullying came forward on Twitter saying that they were made to feel some type of way either because of their race or gender identity. Barton then posted an apology which goes as follows. I've made mistakes. I'm listening. I'm learning, growing, and taking steps to interrogate my own internalized racism. Anger has always been my shield, but vulnerability is the only way I will ever learn to grow. The conversations surrounding me and my actions, the hurt I've caused, and my missteps is important and necessary. Transparency in this industry about pain, abuse, and racism is desperately needed, and I'm thankful for the chance to become a better ally and author. I'm actively reaching out to those I've hurt with apologies, but I know that isn't enough. The only way I can make this right is by stepping back, listening to critique from my community, and doing the work to become a better person. Apologies are hollow, but I intend to make good on this. As a start, I've made a one-time $500 donation to the Trevor Project. To follow, all future royalties I earn off sales of The Ninth Life will be donated to the Trevor Project as well. To those I've hurt, I'm so sorry. I hope I can make this right somehow. And then Barton supposedly left Twitter. It was odd, though, that they decided to donate to the Trevor Project because it's not a charity that's meant for Black people. It's not a charity that's run to stop racism. It's meant to help queer kids. And it seems like Barton was originally accused mostly of being racist in the first place. They did later clarify that they would be donating royalties from their novel Full Moon in Leo to Black Visions Collective. However, their publishers, Inkyard Press and Carina Press, dropped them, as well as their agent. Then, using a Twitter account under their pen name Brook Ray, I believe that is 3 different names now, which in of itself is not a bad thing. I use a pen name as well. And if you are someone who, or if you notice that one person is using different pen names for different books, it's usually because they're publishing in different genres or different categories. And the reason for that is, you know, if you want to write erotica, but also want to write for kids, you do not want those books being under the same name. Some people are just doing it for that reason. Others are doing it because, you know, they got in trouble with one name, so to speak, and then are able to sort of restart their career with a different one. For me personally, I use my pen name to help separate my personal life from my business life. If this were to ever get any bigger, then I know I would personally need that separation. You know, I have no problem with people knowing what my real name is, personally. With the pushback that they got from Twitter, they went on, in my opinion, a bit of a rampage. And those tweets go as follows. There are so many threads that talk about what you did. Asking people to give detailed explanations of the trauma you inflicted on them to prove that you were abusive is in fact abusive. Also, if you didn't get caught, why the F did you apologize? So you did that for what? And then Brook Ray says, I apologize. 1, because my team asked me to. 2, because I wanted to move on, make amends since there was obviously hurt feelings. But hurt feelings is not abuse. Discomfort is not abuse. Stop watering the word down. And someone responds to that tweet going, none of that is incriminating, nor does it change the fact that many people have come forward over the last week or so saying that you treated them poorly. Like, have you noticed the complete lack of people taking your side? No one supports you. What's the point of this? And then Brook Ray responds, that's fine. I don't give a F about support. I give a F about every single person who claimed I was toxic, a toxic abuser, being held accountable for their own toxic abuse. Talking shit in DMs with someone you were friends with at the time is an abuse. Then they should show me this abuse they're talking about. Then someone else goes, how many times do people have to explain to you that victims do not have to prove their abuse to their abusers? You're being willfully ignorant. Yep, that's a word. Well, they gotta prove something. You're proving it yourself right now by throwing a Twitter tantrum like a toddler while you're trying to force your victims to prove their abuse. It's pretty tragic, actually. Interesting. No one called their false allegations and exaggerations a Twitter tantrum, but okay. I'm just trying to pay my bills. I'm just trying to save the substantial income I just lost so I can stay in my apartment, feed my pets, pay for medication, and survive. I'm not asking for anyone to support me, but goddamn, please just leave me alone. If you don't like me, if you don't support me, don't follow my social media and don't buy my books. Block me, mute me, don't seek me out. I have literally nothing left and I only came back to this space because I don't know what else to do besides beg. I've resisted saying anything because I know how this goes. I know how Twitter works. I didn't want to fan the flames. I wanted to leave this space, work on my books, and move the hell on. There's nothing I can say to change anything, but please, I'm gone. Let me be gone. And then according to that same post or article, I guess you could say, that Jessica posted, Barton allegedly threatened to sue individuals who spoke out against them. Way to prove your innocence, I say. Well, I guess if you do genuinely believe that you're in the right, you'll sue the people who you think did you wrong, which in the eyes of the law makes kind of sense. But socially speaking, when you look at the bigger picture, it just all kind of looks a little suspicious, just saying. And it only goes up from here, folks. Let's just say that. Now we're going to really get into why this person using multiple names is problematic. Now enter Jupiter Wyse, who got an agent through a Twitter pitch event that was originally meant for Latinx people. And I know, because I was watching the video that with Cindy did on this subject, and they were saying how people got mad at them one time for using the Latinx term. And I'm only using the Latinx term because that's how it was referred to in this story, and that is how Jupiter Wyse referred to themselves as in the context of this story. I'm taking some advice with Cindy on that one, just so people don't come at me later for using that term. Oh my gosh, this just gets so crazy. So with Jupiter Wyse getting an agent through this Twitter pitch event, which by the way are just, to my knowledge, are ways for agents and aspiring authors to connect via Twitter. Instead of going through a whole query process, they'll just put out kind of like a call to action, and authors are supposed to respond with a sort of quick summary of what their book is about, and then they connect over social media that way. Eventually, though, people were able to figure out that Barton was probably the one behind the account. So here's a tweet from Jupiter Wyse. Also want to note that I participated in the Latinx pitch the day before Tara offered me rep. I got on the phone with some amazing agents, and the reception to my weird gothic dark academia blew my mind. I'm so thankful for all the resources I've stumbled into via book Twitter. The way people were able to figure it out that Jupiter Wyse was actually Brook Ray and all the other pseudonyms, I honestly am having such a hard time keeping track of all of them. So if I make any mistakes, I'll amend them. So people were able to compare photos that were on Jupiter Wyse's account and Brook Ray's account. You can even see, the same tree, Christmas tree in the background of some of their posts, the same cat, the same carpeting. I'll put examples up on the screen now. It's not looking too great for Jupiter Wyse at this point. Someone also pointed out that they had the same astrological signs in their Twitter or Instagram social media bios, which that in of itself, I don't personally believe is that incriminating, but coupled with everything else, it kind of it doesn't look too good. Then Jupiter Wyse made some tweets about being a Latinx author and what it's like being a minority in the publishing space and all of that jazz. I can't explain to you because the way these tweets look to me, and this is my opinion, it looks like they went ahead and studied all the sort of lingo that comes with being a person of color. So for me, I can make a post about being a first generation Canadian and what that means trying to build a life on top of the one that my immigrant parent helped build for me up until this point. Or, being of Caribbean descent, being of a very mixed background, what that means for me and my identity. It sounds like this person went ahead and studied what that type of story would look like for someone of Latin American descent and went, okay, now I can just tweet about this to get sympathy. That's what that feels like to me. At least, I don't know if anyone else feels exactly like that or if they have a different interpretation, but that's just how, again, I feel. But these are the tweets. As a diaspora, monolingual Latinx person, this is really important to remember. I use Spanish in my books a lot, but I use it in ways I'm used to. Little phrases, familial words, stolen pieces of a culture and language I'm still learning and finding. I hate books written by Latinx/Hispanic. We're out here fighting an industry where our existence debated at every single turn and getting mad about us injecting our language and identity into our own creative endeavors. Bet the view is nice from your high horse. Bet it is. At one point, they were identifying as QTPOC, which usually stands for queer trans person of color. They made posts about how the paranormal genre was also whitewashed. I'm begging agents and editors to stop saying they want diversity in one breath and then bad-mouthing vampires and werewolves paranormal in the next, especially if you're going to say, unless it's from another place. Diaspora authors exist. Let us write campy paranormal, please. Black vampires in Los Angeles don't have to be tied to African mythos. Just let them be cool city vamps. Latinx werewolves don't have to be tied to South American legend. Let us just write normal ass werewolves. Your white clients got the chance, now make room for us. If I had $1 for every time an agent or editor said, I don't want vampires or werewolves or fairies unless they're ethnic, I wouldn't need a day job. Anyway, be mindful. Paranormal is not overdone. It's just been whitewashed to death, and that's not our ding-dang fault. They also were seen using dark-skinned emojis. They chose a dark-skinned avatar for their profile photo, referred to themselves as Brujo, to name a few of the things that they did to try and allegedly push the idea that they were, in fact, Latinx. They even posted this photo at one point of themselves in a sugar skull bandana. And at one point, as Jupiter Wyse, they ended up co-writing a book with a real person of Latinx background. I personally don't know if this book was ever completed, but in my opinion, this book will probably never see the light of day. So any of the work that Vianne put into this was almost all for nothing, in my opinion, because now this other person is attached to this project, and with that name being discredited as someone who isn't Latinx, this work, or at least the parts that Jupiter put into it, can't be used. And I'm assuming that if this other author, Vianne, ever wants to publish this book, they will have to do a lot of reworking. I don't know if this was a nonfiction book about immigrating to, I guess, America in this case, or if it was a fictional story or fantasy, whatever the case may be. But regardless, if there was a whole other person putting effort and time into this project, now all of that is going to have to be made up. At least that's what I'm assuming would be the case. So Vianne Londono tweeted, "Some of you might recollect that I had been working the past months on the development of a GN with Jupiter Wyse, who has been outed as a white person pretending to be Latinx, with me, an actual Latinx person. Here's my angry rant." Wyse was then dropped by their agent Tara Gilbert once she found out about Jupiter's real identity. And this is what Tara had to say about that. "I recently found out my client Jupiter Wyse lied to me about their identity. See thread below. Long story short, when I offered rep and they didn't want to speak by video because of dysmorphia, I wanted to respect that. I'm a huge advocate for mental health and personal security. I would never violate my clients by forcing them to do something they were uncomfortable with. Unfortunately, they also gave Jupiter/Taler the perfect opportunity to lie to me, not only about who they are, but about their publishing history. Not once did the names Taylor Barton or Brook Ray come up when I signed them. I'm heartbroken and shocked by this. Thank you to all the people who reached out to me and brought this to my attention. I have terminated my partnership with them." And then these are some of the tweets that came from Jupiter prior to all of this happening, which include, "Before someone dares subtweet me, please remember that I am a legitimate, nasty, mean, selfish trans man. I am hot garbage. I am 2 possums, 1 Wolverine, and a New York subway rat jammed in a single leather jacket. Please refrain. I am nothing if not honest." And you would think that is the end of the story, but no. No, it's not. All the way back in 2021, an account under the name Freydis Moon made a response to the Twitter account Alerts Barton on Twitter saying, "This was just brought to my attention. This is not me. My legal name is Daniela. That can be confirmed by at least one critique partner/beta reader. I don't know what to say. I'm heartbroken to have been targeted like this. But I don't know a Taylor Barton or a Stacey Anthony." I guess Stacey Anthony is another pen name that they were using. Oh my God. Because there was a Twitter account called Alerts Barton. I'm guessing that this account was made solely for the purpose of outing the different pseudonyms that Barton came up with. And they had said that they believe Barton is masquerading brownface again as Hunter Taylor, oh my God, Stacey Anthony, and Freydis Moon. Then in February of this year, the conversation continued in a Discord server. Freydis Moon said, that's another thing. Some of the people in my network, like you, I've been talking to for years. How could I possibly construct such a devious plot to create some weird empire or cult while catfishing as a whole white person? Yep, I wish I knew a single person who has read Taylor Barton, Mars Lies, or whatever, so they could tell me our writing is different at this point, because I don't understand why this is still ongoing in the YA community. I don't even write YA. I have no YA critique partners. Then, in March of 2024, they announced a new project they were starting. Yay! So they go, not me starting a vampire book in the middle of several other projects. Rockstar Vampires, to be exact, inspired by Camazots. I'm going for something different and a bit off the wall, but basically a maker and creator system where creators are the ones who commit the act that summons the power of Camazotz, and vampires can only become mortal once they become makers and turn another person. So like a blend of fictional Maya-inspired magic and classic bloodsuckers. Okay. And the thing is when you read, the examples of Freydis Moon's writing, they're actually pretty good. And you think, why would you go through all of this effort when your writing clearly spoke for itself? It seems throughout this whole process, they were able to get an agent a number of times, like a bunch of different agents, and were only dropped because of actions that they committed that were either racist or otherwise. And that is just so insane to me that someone would ever blow the opportunity that much, like that badly, like when things are going that good. I don't know. Elle, the creator of the document with the Discord messages above and the following screenshots, then pointed out that the snippets were eerily similar to a manuscript forwarded to her back in 2022. And here is a preview from the doc, which will be linked down below. As you can see with the screenshots provided, they are pretty much almost exactly the same, almost word for word in some cases. Then Elle looked at the metadata of the two different documents. Metadata, by the way, is the information that you can get out of a document, which will tell you things like the original owner of the doc, the date it was created, and more. And when confronted, this is what Freydis had to say. And there are so many screenshots. I don't know. It would take way too much time to go through all of them, but I will do my best. Elle goes, "Hey, do you have some time to talk about something with me?" And then they go, "I've got a bit. What's up?" It's about those snippets you posted last Sunday in the server. Oh, the new vampire whip thing? Something about the wording jogged my memory. Like I'd read something very similar before, which seems weird because when you first mentioned the whip, it sounded like it was maybe new, but entirely possible that I misinterpreted that though. No, it's super new. I literally just started drafting it after reworking a short I had in the wings. Okay, then I need to show you something because I'm struggling to wrap my head around this. Like a short from way back in the Tumblr days. Oh, yeah. Is there something weird about it or like inappropriate? Well, I read this whip a while back. That's what the snippets remind me of. And I went and pulled the document back up and like, that's eerie. Who did you get this from? I deleted my short off Tumblr years ago. It was a fanfic, but that's lifted. What the fuck? I can't say who forwarded it to me, but the author who originally sent it was Jupiter Wyse. Who is that? Wait, is that the Taylor Barton pen name person? Yeah. Is that why people thought I was them? Like, I don't mean to have an ego about this, but did that person legit scrub my fanfic? You remember that angel demon story you sent a couple people in the server? Yeah. They apparently also lifted that because I also have an email forwarded from them that's pretty much word for word your angel demon story. I can't get out from underneath this person. Is that the one you shared on Tumblr too? I can't escape them. To be honest, I don't even remember. Probably there or on Wattpad, which is insane considering I wasn't on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere near this person. But now it makes sense why people try to attach me to them. But when you posted it on Tumblr, were you posting it under a name that could even be connected to Freydis? Nope, literally did not have a pen name. I'm so confused and I don't know what to do. Should I make a statement or something? I feel like I've already done that. I mean, at this point, I'll just trunk both those stories, I guess, and keep working on my other stuff. They were old anyway, but it feels extra weird to just have this come back over and over again. It just feels violating at this point. I never understood why Anna Zappo and QBU came after me, but now it kind of makes sense if someone was just, I don't know, lifting material from multiple people online. I'm heading to dinner. If I go quiet, that's why. No worries. And there's so much more. Oh my God. At one point, they were also under the pen name Saint Harlow, which there's a whole side quest about that, but with Cindy talks about that in their video. So I'm just going to leave that part out of this because that was a rabbit hole I did not feel like going down. And then there's also the call out post thread from @Alerts Barton on Twitter that was seemingly deleted, but there are still some screenshots that I will put up on the screen now for you to view at your leisure. That is going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and to do all of that fun stuff. Like I said, a million times in this video, everything will be linked down below. All my sources, my socials. So go give me a follow. That would be great for me. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.